Hello everyone. I hope you all are safe and healthy. Today we are going to start with a new part of the chapter number 2, indicators of growth and development, 12th commerce economics. So basically in the previous part what we have discussed? We have discussed about the meaning of economic growth, their different definitions and what are the limitations of economic growth was there that we have discussed. Then, in a same part, we have also discussed what is economic development, what are its different definitions, then its characteristics and their limitations. And finally, we have ended our session with the help of seeing the difference between the economic development and economic growth. So, till now, we have covered three different topics. Now, the most important question which is asked in the examination for 5 marks. So, we are going to see that. Now, as you can see, the name of the chapter, indicators of growth and development. Okay, indicators of growth and development. Now, in this particular chapter, we are using different kind of indicators to find out the actual relation, okay, between the growth and the development. So there are four different types of indicator we are going to use. One that is your growth rate related with the national income, then per capita income, then PQLI, and the last one that is HDI. So we will discuss today only two of them. In the next session or the next video, we are going to see the next two of that. So let's start our session. Now, what are the indicators of development? So first, when we are discussing about the indicators of any of the country, we have to consider these two questions in mind. First one, how the country has achieved economic development and or not. That means whether your country has achieved the economic development, yes or no. If yes, then what is the method which we are going to follow and by which method we have analyzed it. Then how much is the economic development of the country is there. So for both of them we have to introduce some indicators. So what are that indicators? First one, that is rate of growth in national income, rate of growth of per capita income, quality of life, physical quality of life index. Okay, PQLI, physical quality of life index, and the last one, that is human development index. We are going to use these four different parameters. Now starting with the first one, that is growth rate of national income. Now what is called as national income? Before going jumping to this particular point, we are going to see what is national income. National income, that means income which is generated from all three sectors. All three sectors, that means the agriculture sector, the industrial sector and the service sector. Whatever amount we are generating from all these three sectors will be considered by end of the year, will be considered as your national income. Okay, now when what will be called as a continuous national income or the growth rate in national income. So a country is said to have or attain the economic development if there is a continuous income in real national income of the country for a longer period. If we are achieving our national income but it is not used for the longer period, then it is again a difficulty. So when we are calculating our national income, if we are sustaining on the same point for a longer period, then we are going to make some growth in the national income. Now, if the national income is higher, that means it is rightly said that your country is developing. But when there is decrease in this national income rate, then there will be decrease in the economic development as well. Okay. Now, see here, the tabulation is given, the tabular formula is given. See here. Now, Norway is attaining 2.2 percentage of annual rate of growth income in percentage. This is given in percentage, and this is the source of the this particular table is World Bank and the Economic Survey 2015 and 16. So these data are of the year 2015-16, and we have collected it from the World Bank and Economic Survey together. So see here, India has attained a level of percentage 7.3. So what is our national income in percentage? It is 7.3. This is our annual growth rate. Okay. Now same way China got 7.3, Norway has 2.2, America has 2.4, Sri Lanka has 4.5 and Pakistan has 4.7. Now we can see that maximum rate of percentage in GDP, that means your growth rate, is highest in India and China. That means these both are the fastest growing country in the world. But this is not the correct parameter. We have to analyze it in a proper manner. Even there are some limitation of calculating the national income as well. So basically when you see if India has achieved 7.3 percentage growth rate in national income, then we will be consider ourselves as the fastest growing country in the world. So some countries have a faster growing rate where the national income, when it is compared with the rate of growth of national income, and hence such country is said to be have a higher rate of economic development. So if your rate is higher, that means your development is higher. If your rate is lower, then your development is lower. But there are some limitation. Let's see the limitations of this calculation. First one, that is difficulty in calculating the true national income. Now, do you know how what are the methods which we are following for the calculation of national income? We are following production method, we are following income method, we are following expenses method. So by what method we have calculated it? That is the first issue. Then second one, there are some parameters. Every time when we are calculating our national income, we are facing some difficulties in that. First one, that is double counting. Now what is called as double counting? When you count the national income for two times. Let's take an example. If I have a factory where I'm making some cottons, okay? So whatever amount getting, or whatever income I'm getting on this cotton, I have to show as a national income. I have to pay tax on that. So that is the first one. That cotton is used by some of the industries for making any kind of clothes. So again, they are calculating the national income on that. So that will be considered as a double counting. So my income is counted for two times. So that is the first problem when we are calculating our true national income. Okay, so double counting is there. Second, that is your self consumption. When you are preparing some product and if you are using it for your own purpose, okay. For example, the same example we will take. If I have a cotton factory and I use that particular cotton in my house, so this is used for the self consumption. But has I show that particular thing in the books of accounts? No, I haven't show that. So that is the wrong calculation when it comes to the national income. Same way, difficulty in calculation of depreciation. We are using so many methods for depreciation. We are using straight line method, weighted average method, then we are using some WDV method, different methods we are using. So again, I have used different method, the other person has used different methods, so we are not going to get the proper national income. Next one, that is illegal income. Somehow many of the country has allowed some gambling and all, but our country is not allowing that kind of thing, even though this kind of business is running in India. So whatever income I have generated from any kind of illegal sources, so that is not going to be count in the national income. Even there is an income, but we are not going to count in a national income. Same way, tax avoidance. Many of the people who are regularly paying the tax, but there are some people who are not paying the tax on time, or they are avoiding to pay the tax. They are making frauds in books of accounts. So again, that is an issue when we are calculating this national income. Next is tax evasion. What we are doing, we are making some plannings related with the tax. If we need to pay, last year we have paid 10,000 as a income tax, so for this year we are going to make 11,000, not more than that. So we will prepare books of account as per that. So that is again an issue. Next one, that is barter transaction. Now what is called as barter transaction? When you need 1 kg of wheat and the other person needs 1 kg of rice. So again, we are exchanging our product, we have exchanged our product. So what will be the issue? The issue will become like there should not be anything which is something in return. That means the monetary exchange was not there. So that is also will be difficult when we are calculating the national income. Second, the illiteracy people are not literate to know their rights. Employment opportunities are not there. Even people are going to get employed in more than one occupations. That means if I'm let's take an example. If I'm working as a teacher and I'm also doing business with my father, so that is more than one occupation. So I'm going to show only the occupation which is comes under the tax slabs. We are not going to show the different one. So that is also difficult when we are calculating the national income. So this kind of difficulty we are going to face. Next one, that is population. Now, what is the issue when the term population comes there? If the growth rate of the national income is lesser than the rate of growth of population, then the development is said to be negative, and if that situation is vice versa, then it shows the positive impact. See here, my national income is increasing, but on a same way, growth of population is increasing more than that. So what does it show? It will show a negative impact on our economy. Okay, then same vice versa situation, when the national income is increasing but the population is not increasing in that way, so it will show the positive impact. So this is again a limitation. We are not going to calculate the population every year. We are calculating the census by end of 10 years. Okay, so now there is again a difficulty when, so this is the limitation of this particular national income calculation. Next one, different method we are using for national income, that we have already discussed. We are using what kind of method? We are using production method, income method, and expenditure method. So even these are our standards, our country standards. Different country has the different standards. So when you are comparing your national income with the other one, then what kind of international standards you are going to follow? Okay, so that is again an issue. So that is about the national income. See it again. So this is related with the definition, and this is the tabular expression. This is the real data, and from that we have analyzed it, and these are some limitations of this particular national income. Now the second point or second indicator, that is per capita income. Now what is called as per capita income? When you calculate the total income, total national income, that means the income which is generated from agriculture, from the industry and the service, the total of all three. And when you are dividing it by the total population of the country, what you are going to get? You are going to get the per capita income. Per capita income means it's an individual income. That means the individual person is going to get this amount. Okay. Now, when the per capita income of a country increase for a longer period, definitely there is a continuous development in the country. But here, see this, the experts of UNO, that means United Nations Organization, have recommended that the per capita income is the real indicator of economic development. So among these four, what we need to use? We need to use per capita income to show the real sense of economic development. Okay, so we are going to use these, and these guidelines is given by UNO, United Nations Organization. This can be asked for the 1 mark MCQ. Okay, so remember this, the experts of UNO, United Nations Organization, have recommended per capita income as an indicator of economic development. Next one, if the economy or if the country's per capita income is rising on the faster note, on the faster changes, then there is a development. But when it is going on a slower note, then there will be development is slow in that particular country. Okay, the same, that means there is a direct relation between these two. Okay, if per capita income is constant, then there is stagnation, and if the per capita income is falling, there is negative impact. So constant per capita income, that shows a positive impact, and if there is income is falling, then that will be considered as a negative impact of the economy. Now here see the tabular expression. Here the per capita income is given for a particular year 2014. Again, this data is collected from the World Bank and Economic Survey in the year 2015 and 16. Here is a growth rate. The growth rate is given in percentage. See the first one, Norway. What is their income? Their income is 64,992 US dollars. What India is getting? India is getting 5,497 US dollar in the year 2014. That means Norway is getting more than 11 or 12 times of income of us. So the higher the income, the higher the growth of the country is there. But see, what is the growth rate in percentage? We are only getting 6%. Here they are getting only 1.1%, because they have attained this level and they were continuing their development in the same manner. We are changing every year. We are changing every year. So at present, if you see, we are going to get GDP of less than 3 or 3.5%. So every year it is changing. So see here, India per capita income is 5,497 US dollars, which is less than the many countries. China has higher, Sri Lanka, America, these all country has higher income than us. So the capital income is higher in the India, and hence the rate of development is faster. So see here, the capital rate is higher, so that's why what we can show you, we can say that our development is going on. Same way the growth rate is 6%, so growth is going on. So our economy is a developing economy. So when, and as you know, even we are the people almost, what is our average age? Our average age of our country is 28. 28, that means the maximum number of youth is staying in India. So if we utilize that particular human resources in a proper manner, then we are going to get many more money. We can earn many things. Okay, we can, even we can reach on this level also. The Norway, what the level Norway has made, we can reach on this level in few years. Okay, next one. Now there are some limitations of this. Again, every coin has a two sides, so let's see the second side. Per capita income, here are the limitations. First one, that is only estimates. How it is only estimate? Remember the formula of per capita income: total national income divided by total population. We are going to calculate the national income every year. That means by end of the year, we are calculating the national income from all the sectors, all three sectors of that. But are we calculating our population every year? No. We are calculating it at the end of 10 years. That means at the end of a decade, we are calculating. So last census was done in the year 2011. So next one is going to be done in 2021. So when you don't have the actual figure of population, how you are going to calculate the real GDP or real per capita income or real anything which is real in nature? So these are only estimations. What we are doing, we are just adding few numbers in that year. We are taking some percentage and expected population we are calculating. On that basis, what we are going to see, we are going to see that what will be our national income, but that is not correct in nature. So that is the first limitation. Next one, that is difficulty in calculation of national income and per capita income. So how it is difficult to find out? First one, when we are calculating our national income, and again there will be counted on a per capita income, but on what price we have counted? We have counted it on a current price or constant price, because we have a population of 137 crore people. So calculating the income from all of them, and there will be change in the rates in day to day transaction. So are we going to get the exact amount? So again, that is a difficulty. Again, the methods which we are using for national income, that is difficult. And same way, there are some issues, double counting and all that. So there will be an issue when we are calculating national income and per capita income. Next one, per capita income shows only an average. Okay, what does it show? What is the formula of it? Total national income divided by total population. Now, when we are calculating it, what we are getting? We are getting an average of income. We are getting an average income. But are we are we distributing the same amount among the people? No, we are not distributing the same amount. The same quote which we will apply over here, the richer gets richer and the poorer gets more poorer. Some of the people have the income of more than 2 lakhs a day, and some by end of the year not going to earn 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so that is again an issue. This is just an average, but we are not distributing the same. There is an inequalities related to it. So again, it's a limitation. Next one, next one and last 2 point of this particular session. Fourth, difficulty in comparison. Okay, how it is difficult? United Nations organization has suggested us to calculate per capita income, and they will analyze everything on the basis of that. So ultimately, when United Nations is saying, so we have to follow the currency which is universal in nature. Whatever income is generated in India, we are calculating on the basis of Indian rupee. But when there is a comparison with any other country, we have to convert it in US dollars because it's a universal currency. So we are comparing it and we are converting that particular thing in US dollars. Okay, we have calculated and finding out this is the difference in rate. So today, the rate of US is 72. After 4 days, if you see, it can be 73 or it can be 71 or 68. So, what will be the issue? We are not going to get the exact amounts because every day, in every half an hour, there is a change in US dollars price and currency exchanges. So, again, it's difficult to compare. Next point, deceptive indicator. Now, what is called as deceptive indicator? Per capita income is not the real income which is going to be get by the citizens. For example, it is written that India is going to get 5497 US dollars in the year 2015-16. Okay, so are we really get this amount? So this indicator hides many things, and again there will be an issue when we are calculating it. So these are some limitations of per capita income. So we have seen in today's lecture there are basic four indicators. One that is growth in national income, growth in per capita income, then physical quality of life index and human development index. We have seen these four of them. Then we have discussed what is the growth rate of national income, then what is the situation of India in that particular, and there are three different limitations we have seen. Afterwards, we have taken the second indicator. What does it mean? The growth rate of per capita income. We have seen that where there is one MCQ which is asked in the examination. We have discussed who are the experts have given us the recommendation to implement indicator of per capita income. So they are United Nations organization. Then understanding the situation of India in per capita income, per capita national income, and we have seen the five different limitation of that. So next two we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, and we will upload it soon. If you haven't seen the first part of the chapter, the link is in description, just go through that. So you are going to link up everything, see the first part first, and afterwards jump to the second part. This is it for today. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and share it to the maximum to the people who are studying in 12th commerce and who want to get some quality education in English medium. Okay, thank you so much. Jai Hind.